Welcome back, I'm Melissa Muir, and in this video I'm going to introduce you to the new Badeco MX-2. Now this is a prototype that I have here in my studio, but we're going to be unveiling it at the JCK show in Las Vegas later this month, May 2024. So be sure you're on the lookout for that and then come over and visit us. Let's unbox this and see what we've got. First up we have the motor, which is the RS2000 SP. This is going to give us a 20,000 RPM. Then we have the handpiece cradle, the foot pedal, our power cord, a holder foot that can be attached to your bench top or other accessories, the power supply, and finally we have the MX-2 Revolt control unit. Now for this unit I'm going to be mounting it on the optional MX SF2 articulated arm. This just gives me more flexibility for positioning. So we have the base, the 3 hex keys, a couple of screws which are going to attach our little pivot point onto the back of our controller unit. So when we look back here, it's got a holder fixation, so it kind of shows us right where we're going to be putting this on. I'm going to line this up and insert the hex screws and we'll be ready to mount it onto the machine. The 2 larger hex keys are for several different points on the stand itself. Back here in the back we have for the middle, or this mid-sized one, we can place it into our insertion point here, loosen that up, and that allows us now to change that kind of backbone of this. And then I also have one here on the side here, and then also up here, that's going to allow me to adjust some of these other pivot points. So let's loosen this guy up a bit. And now we can insert the control unit into that. Here at the top of the unit, I can unscrew this, and I'm actually going to unscrew this until it pretty much comes apart. Now there's another little part of our socket in here that's going to allow this ball here, the ball joint, to really move around. So I'm going to place that in here, line it back up with the screw, and then I can hold it here like this. And now I can tighten this back up, and it will allow me to have a good pivot on my controller itself. And then I can come back in here and tighten up any of these other joints. So in my case, I might want this to lean forward a bit. So if we put this back further on our bench top, or we can even bring it back, however you prefer to have that. I'm going to go ahead and put mine kind of in a neutral position, so this is going to be straight up. We have a slant down here, but then we have our control unit where it tips back a bit. And then I'm going to take that larger hex key, and I'm just going to tighten everything up and make sure that we've got everything nice and tight back here in the back. We'll tighten this guy up too. And now this is actually pretty stable. Okay, and I do still have the ability to rock this guy around, move him wherever I need to be, and then I can always make these adjustments. On the back of the unit is where I'm going to plug in the foot pedal as well as my power cable. Like I said, this is a prototype, so it's not labeled yet, but let's jump in and see how this will function, because really we're just missing a little bit of branding. When I turn the machine on, as long as I have my items plugged in here, it's going to recognize that we have a couple of motors, but what I'm going to do is program which setting goes to which. So I'm going to hold down on the speed button here for just a few seconds, and our display is going to change. And now it says motor 1, 2, 3, 4, but we really only have 2 motors that we're dealing with here. So let's do motor number 1 first. And in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and push that. Right now, it's already set at RS2000, and that is going to be for my strong motor here. Okay. If I wanted to change that, all I need to do is just rotate the button here, and as it goes around, it will change which setting we are currently on. So I'm going to come back to the back button here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit that. And now we're going to switch over to motor number 2. And again, I'm just going to hit enter. And again, already I have it set at the RS3000, but this is the SP, and I also have the V, okay? And that's just talking about the different motors. So I could easily switch that between each. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and select this one and say that that's good. We're gonna come down here to the return button. There we go. And it's going to take me back to this. And right now, because we're on the hand control, I can see, and I can also tell that it's my RS2000, my strong handpiece that's going. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that by just toggling my control unit here. 1 and 2. I'm going to put that to the neutral position. So that's just going to tell me that I'm on my rotary handpiece and it's ready to go. When we're using a rotary handpiece, we have the L and the R for left and right, but what it is forward and reverse. If we go to the right, it's going to be a right motion, which is going to be clockwise, and that is going to be that forward motion. When I come to L, then it's going to give me that counterclockwise, so it's rotating to the left. Notice also that my spinning action here changed directions. I also have a neutral position, but we can go forward and we can go in reverse, and it's going to give us that indicator there. I'm going to go ahead and leave that back here in the neutral position for just a moment. Now, when this is in the neutral position, none of my hand pieces are going to do anything. Currently, my toggle is set in the neutral position for which handpiece I'm selecting, so nothing will run at this point in time. If I push this down, it's going to go to my second handpiece. So we've got handpiece 1 here on the left, handpiece 2 on the right. So I'm going to push down to go to handpiece number 2. I'm in the blue currently, so that tells me that I'm using my foot pedal. 12,500 RPM, that's as high as this motor is going to go. So I'm going to bring this way down, and notice that I have an indicator here, kind of like a little slider. So not only do I see how many RPMs it's going to do, but it's also going to show me where I'm at. And here, it also tells me what the maximum speed is for this. It tells me up here which motor I'm using, and it also indicates that I'm on the foot pedal setting. So let's say I'm colorblind, then I can also look up here and see that as well. So now I've got I'm set to 500, I'm on the foot pedal, and now if we look at the second toggle button here, this is going to tell my foot pedal either to go right to whatever speed I have, or if I bring this down, I can then do it at a variable rate. So then I can go from slow to faster. So let's say we want to go at 1250 RPM. So if I press on the foot pedal just slowly, it's going to give me a ramp up to that top speed that I have selected. Whereas if I take this second toggle and put it all the way up here to the top, when I push on it, it's going to go right to 1250. All right, it doesn't ramp it up, it just takes me right to that. Let's say I want to switch between my hand pieces, so now I'm just going to take this toggle here. Right now I'm in that hand control, so I'm green, I see a hand. I'm going to switch that over to the foot pedal, 20,000 RPM. That is where my top speed is, so I'm going to bring that down because I definitely don't need to be running at 20,000 RPM. And here I'm at, just go to my speed. So I go right to 6,200 RPM. Now I can have that here, and I can also slow this down as it's moving. And again, if I want that ramp up, then all I have to do is just switch that setting. And you can see that indicated here as well. As you can see, this is a really robust system for such a small footprint and a small box. But there's quite a bit that you can do. I love that I can switch back and forth between the different hand pieces, and I like that I also have very easy control with that hand dial versus the foot dial. Now, Join me in the next video as I talk about all the differences between the motors and the various handpieces that are available, because there is quite the variety, as well as different accessories that would then go with each one of them, and there's special ways to use each of these. So be sure to join me for that next video, or if you're going to be at JCK here coming up here in May 2024, then come by and see me at the Guesswein booth, and I will have this on hand where you can try it out firsthand. We'll see you guys soon.